this. Let me know if you guys have any objection with the recording. Otherwise, we shall continue. This is the Stocks and Crypto Stallionaires weekly workshop. So we're just doing this, and this is just a casual thing. I don't have anything prepared, but what I tend to do is whatever you guys want me to focus. Who's this? Hi. Jason's iPhone. Okay. So again, this is basically what hopping in. Okay, Peter. Okay, so I'm gonna close the Discord chat and I'm going to share my screen. Multiple discussion, one person share at a time. Okay. And then let me know on the chat, or you guys are more than welcome to unmute yourself if you guys have any questions, and just ask away. Can you guys see my screen?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
Or no? Nope. Okay, cool. Thank you. Share screen. Okay, I think, all right. Okay, what about now?
I can.
You're good.
Perfect. Okay, so let me close this. Okay, so let me put this down. Okay, so what basically again, welcome this. So we have 8 participants for today, and thank you all for coming. I'm gonna check whoever tries to come in every now and then, because I'm apparently I'm supposed to let them in, so allow them to come in. But this is a workshop that we decided to I just kind of like go online and answer questions that you guys have, or cover basically what happened this week, to just make sense of how the market reacted, or what was the best play. I would like Peter and the Bull Run. So Peter Red and Bull Run have suggested that we should start with the SPY, and then the Qs and the UVXY, so that it will give us an idea of where the market is, and whatever was the main runners, right? So I like to start off with the SPY, and then put in the chat if you guys have any request. Because again, this is casual. I am not, or any indicators that you guys want to go over. Like I will go over the FIBS, because that's a big one. People want to learn that. Any other indicators that you guys want me to cover, I will do that. But in the meantime, I will show you guys how I chart myself. Basically, this is Tesla, and I kept saying so that's annoying. All right, this is Tesla, and I will not cover that yet. I'm going to start with the SPY, as I said earlier. So we tend to watch the SPY a lot of times, and the Q. That being said, because this is the S&P 500, it has the main tech. Spicy. Okay, I'll make it myself. All right, so the SPY, it has a big effect in the market. So the top 5, we used to call them FANGs, and now they're called MAM, right? Because Facebook changed its name. So the top 5 is the Apple, the Microsoft, the Amazon, the Facebook, the Google. And then you can go ahead, and the next 5, we have Berkshire Hathaway, Google B, Tesla, J&J, and I believe it's Goldman Sachs, or one of those bankers. So main point being is that if the SPY is not doing well, let me go let other people in, admit all. Okay. So the main point is that if the SPY is not doing well, then most likely, so I'm going to mute everyone. Just raise your hands if you guys have questions. Mute all, so there's no background. Most likely is that it will affect a lot of things, right? So
I will delete all the lines that I have right now so you guys can understand what I just did. And once I finish the SPY, we can go in and dig in some other stocks. Okay, so all right. Okay, so I tend to start with the weekly. So I'm using TradingView. I use TradingView and TrendSpider. So I like TradingView because it's just cleaner. And when you're doing your technical analysis, rest assured, make sure that you guys, hello, welcome Abui. I think that's your initial. So when you guys are doing technical analysis, make sure that you guys are not biased, right? So you guys want to start fresh. You guys want to do your own analysis because you don't want to um, like be biased and thinking, oh, so and so think that it's gonna is bearish or it's bullish, right? So you don't want to do that because that affects your own analysis. So if you guys are gonna do a chart, right, make sure that it is your own, that it is your analysis, it is your trade. So you need to be confident with that, right? So I do weekly first. So 1 week here in the trading view, it means 1 week means each of these candles represent a week, a trading week, right? So that's 5 days trading week. So everyone knows the SPY. I kept covering this. This was the pandemic drop, and usually SPY was trending this way, and then it had a little breakout, and then I guess somebody know there was going to be a pandemic, then they drop. So what I do is I look at this and like, okay, so that's a big drop. So that's basically when the move started to happen. And as you can see, it's basically a crazy bull run. So let's see if we can find a trend line. So a trend line is something that hits this line that you make at least 3 times, right? So a valid trend line is it's been hit 3 times. A trend line can act as your support. Support is at the bottom. So support is that no matter what, it looks like the stock is bouncing up the support, right? And then you have resistance or your wall. So it doesn't matter how much buyers go in, it looks like it's getting rejected at that resistance, right? It's resisting. So let's draw a trend line and see if we can find something. So again, this is the SPY. So here, this was the previous line from the before, but then I said that, okay, it looks like the pandemic is the new move. So let's see if I can go here and there. So this is the weekly. See if I can extend this and find something like some event. Okay, so no, I think this is fine. Okay, and then I tend to change this into say green. You know, I'll change this to red. I'll tell you why later. And then this is my resistance, right? So resistance, just a review, resistance is when you have a lot of supply. That is when traders tend to sell, right? Because the asset is not as attractive because it's overbought. So let me close that. And then support is the bottom. So let me just fix this one here. So I like this one trend line better. Okay, I know it's really small. Let me not do that. Okay, so that's better. Okay, so the support, again, is supply and demand, is you are oversold, right? So there is, no one wants it, it's cheap. So that's when traders tend to go in. So I am doing weekly and I'm like, okay, well, this is per week. So that is a good resistance. Resistance, again, there is selling pressure. So as you can see, it goes down. Another one. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm confident with this. And recently, as you guys could see, really nice right there. This was just last week. And this is during this week, right? And then support likewise. I'm happy. You know what? I think there's another trend line right here. I like that one. So you guys can do multiple trend lines, right? Like you're not restricted with one line. So, but then again, you know, like don't overdraw because that's crazy. So, so that's what I do, and this is the weekly. So I would change this now into a green because subconsciously it will tell me, oh, it is an opportunity to buy, right? Red, stop, green, go. This is just my way of notating and coloring. So this is weekly, and then I'll say, okay, let's go into the daily, right? So the daily. So we use weekly to swing, we use daily to swing, we use a shorter amount of time, like 15 minutes and all of that for if we want to day trade. Okay. If you want to day trade or if you want to scalp, you want to do 1 minute, right? So if you guys want to dig in more into those time frames, I discussed that and we have a video of that. I might redo that class again. So that's like a more in-depth technical analysis. This is more of like on a fly. Is anyone chatting? You guys have any questions so far? Everything's okay? So that's all I covered, right? So I just did weekly and then daily. So um, it's I'm just gonna focus on 2021 because you guys don't see the candles. All right. I drew another, so I'm gonna change this one to green as well. So I drew another trend line here at the bottom, right? So it's a go, buy, buy, buy. And then the red one is the resistance. So I'm saying, okay, you know, like you might want to check it out and not be so super aggressive with your move. So so this is what I have. I might have to adjust a little bit here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that hit 5 times. I don't want to do, if I want to do this, I think I want to do that. Looks like a better trend line. No, no, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, right there. Okay. Okay. Let's see if I can extend this here. Okay. All right. So, and then I tend to make this bigger so I can understand the candles. Then you can do, this is also a nice trend line right here. So again, that's why it is very important to, oh, that was a nice trend line. Okay. Then boom, there's another one. So that's fine if you guys are going to have multiple trend lines, but this one tends to be, as you zoom in, right? You're like, okay, well, this is also acting as a really good trend line support. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that was a breakdown. Okay, so now that we have our support, and what happened in the past, as you can see, the SPY tends to touch this support and then bounces, bounces, bounces. And here almost did, but it didn't, but it did bounce. So it doesn't need to actually touch it. It's just like near it, right? It's the direction of your asset. So you guys remember this. This is in September when we had a really bad month, when the SPY dropped. And this is what we call the breakdown, right? So if it breaks the support, it's a breakdown. If it breaks the resistance, a breakout. So when that happened, when the SPY broke this, then it established another trend line, which we already have from the weekly, which is right here. So once I have all of these numbers in, I say, okay, let me understand if my trend line makes sense to me. So I go in and say, what is the moving average, right? So moving average are, or SMA, simple moving average, are basically used by a lot of traders to to see whether or not they are at a support or resistance. So by definition, moving average. So these are the numbers of the averages over the past couple of days. So if you do 20 moving average, say 100 moving average, I'm just going to say that. Say I have a 50, okay, 100. Then I'm going to turn on everything. 100 is in yellow, so 100 trading days. In the past 100 days, that is the average price of the asset. So when this happened, when this SPY broke down, a lot of traders turn on their 50 and 200 MA and 100 MA. The reason being is that these are important indicators. Like for example, um, the 200 MA, the 200 MA in the past 200 days, 200 trading days, the price went below it. So that, as you could see, that is a breakdown. It went below the 200 MA and our trend line. So people also said, okay, let me see what happens in the 100 moving average. As you can see here, the SPY tried to bounce back up, right? So when the 200 broke, traders are like, okay, 100 is the next support. But then it did bounce, and then as you could see, 200 was the resistance. It went back down again, and then it consolidated here, and this was used as a support. Broke this, broke the 200, and then recently last week we are now back in the bull trend, right? So this was great. If you guys remember last week, everything just went crazy, right? Like everything was green. So we also had a workshop actually when it was right here. It was a resistance when when the traders, I think it was a Friday or something. This was when the traders don't know if this is an actual breakout going back into a bull run, or if there's going to be another rejection. Because remember, see here, this was another Doji Candle that the traders were unsure if it's going to go up or it's going to go down. So it went down. So these are important candles indicators. If you guys see something like this, right? So this is when either your asset is going to go up or is going to go down. So this is what we call the doji candle, when the opening price and the closing price close at the same time and the traders have no idea or are undecided where it's going to go. In our case, the next day is a big push up, right? So this is a breakout. So it broke out this support. So now we are now sort of back in the bull trend, and then it took a couple of days until we had this rally up, 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 and then SPY printed a new all-time high on November 5th, which was, I believe, a Friday. So we had this course again last Friday, and I was saying that, oh, I didn't even realize that the SPY is at that trend line. So as you guys could see, I drew a red line here, meaning cautious, right? So because we have a strong trend line here in the past couple of days, you could see every time it hits that line, boom, 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 it's getting rejected, right? And as you could see, since Monday, it has been shaky. Give me 1 second.
Hi, babe. Can you lower your volume, please?
Sorry, my son is watching YouTube. So okay, so now as you could see, that was a Friday. It was a little bit hesitant, right? Because we have reached all-time high on the SPY. And then comes Monday, it started to, the candle printed inside the previous day. So that's like what we call that, it's not too aggressive, it's consolidation. And then the following days, you could see now, and today we have another inside candle. So we might see another consolidation, but most likely this asset, the SPY, is going to try and hit 461. So we're at 464. So what I do after we do this is I turn on another indicator called the Bollinger Bands. I like the Bollinger Bands because it just tells you the behavior of the volatility of the asset, right? So if you are at the very top, this is a standard deviation of 2%. I did explain the math behind this in my course, the free course that's posted in our training calendar, I mean, in our training education. So think of it this way. This is a normalized curve that is a 2 standard deviation, meaning that if it's all the way at the top, it will tend to go back down in the middle. This middle line is a 20-day moving average. So think about it, 20-day moving average is a month, right? So what happened in the past month? So 5 days a week, right? 5 days trading days. So what happened in the past month? So it's acting like it is going to be at the 450, 460 level. In the past month, that is the average price of the SPY. And when I just turn on the Bollinger Bands, you guys could see it is actually on our support. So that's using an indicator. It's kind of like a secondary um, secondary analysis. Oh, first, what you had. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to tell my kid to lower down his Mario. Okay, so so it looks like the middle of the Bollinger Band is at 460, and that is our support. So when you have this indicator on, I turn on the RSI. So I want to see if it's overbought or oversold. I want to see the momentum. I do RSI and stochastics. They have both here. RSI, relative strength index, and stochastic. So stochastic is momentum, RSI is oversold, overbought. Let's see. All right. So as you guys could see right here, so above 70 for the RSI is overbought. Below 30 is oversold. The blue line is stochastic. This is momentum. Like how strong is there momentum in the stock? Are people buying this? Are people selling this? Who's winning in the battle? And then RSI is overbought, oversold. I like doing the two. Some people prefer one or the other. I just like doing the two. Momentum, as you guys could see, it lost its momentum right here. And then I want to confirm with the RSI, okay, yeah, it is oversold, and now people are overbought. Now people are selling. And right here, right here, right here, RSI is not there yet. It's still in the middle. So this is suggesting to me that there's not a lot of momentum. As you guys could see in the past couple of days, everything is just trading sideways. There's no direction of the market, right? We're not doing Momo trades at the moment. This week is not the time to be aggressive. So that is stochastic. And then RSI is, is there more to sell? Well, it looks like there is, right? Because I'm only at 60. Oversold is below 30. So this might be going sideways, or tomorrow might be a drop down to 61. So any questions so far? So what happens if it hits here? Well, if it hits here, most likely buyers are going to come in. Let me turn off the other indicators. So most likely there's going to be a bounce, right? So depending on the news too. So you guys, we have this inflation data and all that stuff, and we'll see how, like, probably not tomorrow. It will probably consolidate. So, but it's tend to be approaching the support line. What I do is sometimes I ask myself, okay, is this copying the previous momentum? So what I do is, okay, so you guys can delete
this one if it's too crazy. I do this. I draw a line going down because I want to know the speed of this going down. I want to see if I can find a trend here. I think that's 1, 2, 3. That's not bad. See if I can find another one. That's a little. I think this one is okay. So this trend, I will just color this orange, and then I just do copy and paste, right? And then I'm going to see if I can interpolate this on something else. Like here, this one worked. And then I'm not going to change it because for me, that's velocity. That is the speed of the price. This is not an indicator. This is just my own thing. So you guys can do that. And then maybe right there. And then I can measure. It's a little bit too steep. Let me go see if I can go. Maybe that's it. So it looks like it's touching the orange line, right? So that's just what I do. But yeah, so that is for the SPY. Do you guys want to talk about another asset? I don't see the. You guys wanted to, oh, one more chat. Yeah, I can do affirm. Okay. All right, affirm. Okay. Okay. So let me. All right, affirm. So I'm gonna take out these guys. Okay. I have lines already here, so let me delete that and see what happened. Okay, so affirm had this big bold. All right. I didn't really analyze this before, so this is crazy. So I guess it was up before, and then it had that run in August. I guess that was the Amazon partnership that just led to this bull run. So I tend to, for this one, it looks like it just opened this year. I don't have enough data. So you guys can start working on trend lines horizontally as opposed to vertically. You guys can do that too. But let's start with horizontal because this is quite obvious, right? And let me delete this so you guys. Okay. So this is in a week. There's not a lot of data that we're working with. So let's just start with horizontal line, horizontal ray, horizontal line. So I think there's a lot of activity that is happening here because that is when the gap up happened, right? So the gap up, I guess they debut here and then it went down and then it gap up right there. So I think that's an important one. So institution tends to buy in whole numbers. So they're not going to buy 89, 88. So this, I just rounded up to 90. So just to clean it up. Okay. So this is a weekly. And again, it looks like in the week, it looks like we've had a nice uptrend. So I can, before I do that, I want to do another horizontal line. That one looks like a good resistance because it tried to break here, break here, break here, tried to, then we had a breakout. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's clean it up and see 130. Okay. And then, oh, okay. And then that 130 was the resistance before 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it's acting as a support even now. 1, 2. So it looks like it did have the support. Just give me 1 second, guys. Someone just need to take this call. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is a weekly, and as I'm pointing out, like that first week of it debut, it had this resistance trying to break out, and a couple of weeks later, and then it had this breakout, and then now it is acting as a support for the weekly. So let me see if I can find another one. So that's 130. So what is happening with 150? I'm just going to do this and see if there's a lot of activities in the 150. 150. Okay, so that was almost the resistance. And then obviously let's do the top of 175. Okay, let's do 170. See. Okay. So now the week, and then we just go move into the day. So let's see if our lines from the week see if the day candles respect the weekly trend lines that we did. Okay, so we did here, we have a horizontal line. It looks like it is because there's a lot of activity centered here, right? So there's activity here. There's is resistance and the support. Resistance and support. And then we are back down here acting as a support on a daily. So what can we get out of here? So let's see if I can get a trend line and what is happening here. Because this is such a drastic drop, but it got picked up here. So for here, I would say I'm going to do a fib because it looks like the candles are like big moves and I want to see. So I'm going to do ATR on this one, average through range. I want to see what is the price that is moving. Okay, so right now currently it's $13 up and down. Okay. So let's do a fib. Okay, so you guys can do fib, you go here, and fib starts, it's a wick to wick, and you guys can do fib anywhere in your chart. How I do mine is where the move began. So I think the move began right here. Wick to wick. Oh, look at that. So it did. Okay, so what I'm seeing, I don't know if you guys can see that our support line here at 150 is actually a fib support. If you draw it from this line all the way to the all-time high of 178 levels, and as you could see, we have a support here of the fib, the 23% fib pullback 150, the 38% fib of 131. And then here we didn't draw lines here, but you guys get the picture. So we want to focus here. So it looks like from here, I think this was earnings yesterday, it went and got picked up here. And then it tried to go and break this resistance, which was the first line of fib. So what is going to happen? All right, because we want to know what's going to happen here. Okay. First of all, it did drop. It broke its trend line, and then it tried to go back up. So what tends to happen here is it needs to break the 170 before it could retest the 180. So I like to go and see if I can draw a trend line right there. 1, 2, 3, and another one it got touched right here, and then that failed breakdown. And then today it tried to get back into this channel. So I like to do is draw our trend line from here to here. So how am I going to interpret this? Okay, so I would say today it had a breakout, right? It tried to get back into this price channel. So we clearly have this price channel over the day, and it went above the fib, the support, like a really strong candle on the support, and now it's back trying to get back into the line, into the price. So if it stays above 163, above this green line, then we can rest assured of, not rest assured, so we most likely this is gonna go and retest the all-time high and possibly print a new high at 190. So this will be my new target right here. So what's going to happen tomorrow? Because I don't know if you guys have contracts for tomorrow, but most people want to know that. Okay, let me see if I can fix this one. I like that trend line right here. So, but I want to see if I can make another one. Is this making sense? Because that is screaming to me. That's interesting. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so yes, we have a bounce from the fib, one on the 38%, and then we bounce to the 24%, and then it's trying to get back in this channel, but it still have this resistance at 165. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of that because that's confusing. But okay, so it needs to stay above this line, the 165 line, in order for it to see a 190. So I tend to do 4 hours. So 4 hours is what happened during the day. The first half hour is the morning session of the trading, and then the next candle. So this is morning and this is afternoon. Morning is afternoon. So what's happening? What are your traders doing? So in the morning it's pretty aggressive. They drive the price up, and then in the afternoon there's less people buying this. Likewise today we seen a big spike. This was November 11th, and then towards the end of the day, the next half of the session, there's less people. It's just so this was the drop, I guess, the drop, and then people just start to pick it up here. So you guys can see what will happen, but there's a big resistance here at 160. And I say that because the candle is not a full body candle, it's just a wick. So a good, like, it's more like there's a lot of people selling. If you see a wick candle pushing down, it's not a full body, that means a lot of selling. So it's trying to go back up, but there's a lot of selling. So for a firm, I would say that it really needs to get back into the 160 range, it get into back here before it needs to test 160 and then 170 before it can go back up to the one. It can go and print a new all-time high. All right, so I also tend to do a 15-minute, because if I'm day trading this, I just wanted to know what's going on. And in the 15 minutes, this is really acting like a really heavy resistance. So it's looking like it is trading between 150 and 160. So I want to see, go back to the daily, and I want to see the momentum. Stochastic RSI. All right, so it's looking like there's not a lot of buyers coming in yet. It's looking like the momentum is slow and it's going under the embedded, the oversold territory. I don't see it turning yet. So you guys might want to be careful because the 160 is looking like as a really strong resistance. And I don't have a firm. And it could be doing this because it looks like they miss earnings, right, by 215%. So that is what I'm looking at for a firm. And then I would use I would use Trend Spider at 10 minutes. To get rid of this. And look at the volume. So this was the pump earlier. It went back up, but then there's a lot of volume here too. I see the selling. So yeah, this is acting like as a really big support, but that's also because it filled up the gap in the 10 minutes. So overall trend, it's looking like it needs to consolidate. It's probably going to take a couple of days. It's probably going to linger here. And then it might have a big, you know, a little up here, 160, 150. So it might be trading in this range. That's what I think is going to happen for a firm. Do you guys have any questions? Did that make sense? Okay. Chat. Check my DM. Okay. Yes, I do. Is there a lot of people trying to get in? I think there's. Okay, yeah, maybe I just very recently. She's speaking. Free version. Okay. I didn't check the room since I'm recording. We need access to let people in. Okay. Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming in. I think we hit the top of the hour. It is 1:50 now. So I'm just gonna close. Just gonna close now. So I guess Peter, we're just gonna talk about the logistics later. But you guys have any other questions about charting? Did that help? Be on the lookout for the next workshop on Twitter. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Wise. Have a great day. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Keith. Thank you guys for coming. And I hope I made sense. Thank you. Okay. All right, I'm going to close this and I'm going to talk to you and Bull. Okay, bye, guys. Bye.